For my final assignment, I decided to do my historical speech critique on Theodore Roosevelt's Citizenship in a Republic speech, which is commonly referred to as the Man in the Arena speech. Theodore Roosevelt was giving this speech at the Sorbonne in Paris, France on April 23, 1910. This was a year after he served his last term as president. He had spent a year hunting in Central Africa before he started a tour in North Africa and Europe. During this tour, he spent time traveling to events and even giving some speeches himself. Some of his stops included Cairo, Berlin, Naples, Oxford. He then stopped in Paris and delivered what came to be his most quoted speech of his career. To begin, Theodore Roosevelt was already a well-known man globally due to the fact that he served 2 terms as President of the United States, but he was also a conservationist, naturalist, and a writer. I believe the main purpose of Theodore Roosevelt's speech was a combination of informing and persuading the audience. According to Edmund Morris' biography, Colonel Roosevelt, the audience consisted of ministers in court dresses, Army and Navy officers in full uniform, 900 students, and an audience of 2,000 ticket holders. Unfortunately, this speech was given before the time of audio and videos, so I cannot critique a lot of key factors that play into a well-given speech, such as eye contact, volume, tone, and facial expressions. However, I do not think that this takes away from the fact that anyone who reads Roosevelt's Citizenship in a Republic speech can feel the impact and the relevancy that his words still hold true to this day. As I mentioned earlier, this became Theodore Roosevelt's most quoted speech of his career, so you may think that it would be a hard one to pick the most famous quote from his speech, but that was not the case because the quote in question has been used by many other famous individuals for years to come. John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon even quoted them in his speeches. And you have probably heard this quote or saw it on an inspirational poster, and maybe you just did not realize it was from Theodore Roosevelt. So the most recognizable quote from his speech is, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who still strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does strive to the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while doing greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." This quote stood out to the audience and is how his speech, that was originally named Citizenship in a Republic, earned the nickname the Man in the Arena. In his speech, Roosevelt uses a wide range of vocabulary, and honestly, some of it was hard to decipher. 2 words I had to look up the meaning of were fadaciousness and gallantry. Fadaciousness means excessively particular, critical, or demanding, and gallantry means courageous behavior, specifically in battle. He uses the word fadaciousness to shame the man of uncultured taste and uses the word gallantry to applaud the French soldiers. The audience loved the speech and it was a huge success, which came to a surprise as Roosevelt, as he said he did not know how the French people would react to it. Finally, my overall thoughts on the Citizenship in a Republic speech by Theodore Roosevelt is that it was a very well thought out speech, and I'm sure he did a good job on the delivery considering that the audience liked it. It was a bit lengthy to read, but well worth it as it is still relevant today.